You may have heard me talk about this potentially 24-hour race that's happening around the 23rd of next month, approximately, depending on your time zones. And each YouTuber is going to have their own car, but there's only going to be probably about 4 or 5 YouTubers actually participating, which means that the server's not really going to be saturated. So we've come to a decision that we're going to each YouTuber create their own secondary car that is going to be also run with their viewers. And I didn't want to run just the same category. So categories that we'll be running together is LMDH, LMH. We're not running LMDH because the vibration issue. The other one we're going to be running is LMP2, which is an old hangover sort of category that's going to be running until about 2025. So to that end, I created some very generic sort of rules. This is not the final product, as I found out a few different things. One of which is the amount of downforce he's created. I just wasn't sure, so I kind of did a random shot in the dark about this. Then I was told about this handy dandy website. It's really complicated. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it looks like it was made in the 90s. But what it does do is give us pages like this, which actually gives us downforce amounts. Now, this is not an LMP2 version. Unfortunately, there actually is an LMP2 at all, except for apparently whatever the hell this generic closed top. Yeah, this is basically what we're going to be running our numbers off of. And also the drag coefficient, the lift to drag ratio is unfortunately in kilograms, where in automation the drag values are in a power unit, not a weight unit. So this is pretty hard to figure out. So, and actually, I'm not going to run that. I'm just going to tell them that they maybe can only run their wing angle at 50%. This number, however, at 200 kilometers an hour is 13 or nearly 1400 kilos. Not bad. So, let's start a new project. Now, the last car was made with these bodies, but making Le Mans cars out of these bodies are actually quite hard, considering that the rear end is not squared off. So instead, we're going to be using this much older but still fairly relevant body. Well, this is annoying. Not even on Bing can I find the bore and stroke of the V8 that we're going to be using, which is the GK428. We're gonna basically guesstimate it. It's a 4.2 liter V8. I mean, how hard can it be? Famous last words. Even the pictures aren't particularly great for this engine. It's really, really hard to tell what's happening. It doesn't look like... Is that injector? Maybe that is injectors. So maybe not direct. We'll just go with multi-port. And apparently it also runs on E10 ethanol. That's a choice, but I'm more than happy to oblige. A little bit of extra run, but still very low octane. I'm also going to make this good because all of these other teams are going to be using this engine. Now we just got to get the raw amount of power. This is about 450 kilowatts and 555 newton meters. Well, you know what? We're pretty close, actually. Now, to make it look like the right thing, very generic gray everywhere and a little bit of a black panel on top. But having a look from here, it's got some body mounts on it. For those of you that don't know, usually an engine on like really high-end vehicles is a part of the body structure, so then they don't have to run that little bit of extra body frame rails out to the back. Saving just a smidgen bit of weight, and in a very crucial area where there's a lot of weight already, such as the engine. I wonder what she sounds like. Does she at least sound good? That's a good sounding engine. Good thing I put a muffler on this, so then it's not going to be too loud when we pass them all the time. Which I think is actually quite important for a race that's usually multi-class. If we're just all in the same car, there's going to be very little overtaking, so I think it helps break up the whole 24 hours of a race if there's at least some cars we can overtake. Let's go in and turn off this chassis. Make it rear-wheel drive, manual, and something like a 5 or a 6-speed, something like that. Oh, the engine sticks through. We'll fix that later. Luckily, at least we have some tire dimensions we can stick to. So 360 rear. We're going to be running a very square tire, so the fronts are not a whole lot smaller than the rears. And you're going to see this immediately when we load this up. This thing, it's going to want to oversteer without a lot of downforce. And here's a little trick for you fellerinos out there. Thanks to a user on my Discord channel called Akaimen, I have learned that increasing tire quality or decreasing the weight of the wheel by giving it a better material like this actually makes the tires just a little worse in BeamNG, I mean. It's weird. It has more grip, but it's grip to no grip kind of drop off becomes a hell of a lot more drastic, and the thing is prone to more spinning in corners. So don't touch that. Now, for those of you thinking, oh, I'm going to run a single seat, well, technically these are meant to be two-seaters, but if you think having one seat weighs less, you're wrong, actually. Two halved or reduced size seats, whatever that is actually what is the lightest here. And as you see, a lot of oversteer. Maybe if we rein in a little bit of camber will help us. Yeah, no, that's changing nearly nothing. So let's start by adding some bits and bobs on here. First of which, I'm going to paint this suspension to be invisible. Then a modern front lip and a multi-element rear wing. Just something like that. And also, it doesn't matter the size of the wing. It's more that just if the wing exists or not nowadays. And then, with two wings on the ring and only a lip in the front, we have about 500 kilos already. Let's add a little bit more downforce with something like, I know it says GT3, but it's the best we got. And scale it to be a reasonable size and plop you in. And now if we go a little bit of an update, we are seeing much better. What was this in kilos again? Yeah, that's right. 1300 is what we were aiming for. 1300 divided by 3, approximately 800 on the rear and 400 on the front. That's gonna take a lot. Okay, this double element wing is gonna become a triple element wing. Woo! The sort of thing that you usually only see on Formula 1 cars. But you know what? It doesn't hurt. Okay, now we have 800 on the rear. Wait, oh, wait. No, I was meant to measure this at 200. No, wait, 320. My bad. Close enough. What I was hoping to do was to stick on some sort of cutout patchwork on the front here, then grabbing one of these wings on the rear and using it to fill up the front area. I mean, it's kind of working. And now we have approximately not as much as what I'd like. Oh god, this is going to take a lot of wings, isn't it? How else can we fake wings? They got some weird canard type things, and this one even has multiple canards. So if we're generating 150-ish kilos on the front, stick on some of these old school canards, and now we're generating 211. Oh, that was an extra 50 kilos. We're not actually going to mirror this anymore. We're going to unmirror it. Then we're going to shift and hold and click, which will generate a duplicate of it, and flip to other orientation. And now we have 281. Okay, this can work. Now we just need about 160 more on the rear. Shouldn't be too hard. You know what we can do? Hold on. We can grab this, which does add downforce, but it's fine because we're going with a downforce limit more than amount of wing limit. Right about there. And now we have a lot more front downforce. Frick. There. Good enough. Close enough. There. Fantastic. Just shy of the mark, and I'm all done. What we have done is return this back to being just one mirrored fixture, and then the rear we've got a whole bunch of like vents here that are actually wings, and then we've gone to a single element wing. Now with all of that done, I think it's time to give this thing a proper paint job. And I'm thinking we're going to start with a nice white palette for this particular build. Now, if you look at all modern LMP cars, you'll all notice that they all have the same sort of idea to have what looks to be some sort of Formula 1 side pod. And luckily for us, we have such a thing. We're going to just use this. This is something I've been doing a lot on my my prototype builds recently. I've been doing a lot of practice and just getting brushed up on my building skills. It's pretty easy to use. Then use patches and use a cutout. See how easy this is to use? I mean, bammo, basically done. And then we have the perfect sort of cutout, which you usually will be able to see the back of a tire and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, that's the side pod done. The automation test track I have only puts it like 2 seconds slower than my other car. Oh my LMD car is pretty slow apparently. I suppose this is without the hybrid system that the LMD will have. Well, it's about time we go ahead and export the LMP-NS2. Let's see how it drives. Oh my god, this thing rips off the line. I think I may have accidentally selected manual. I was meant to go automatic manual and then put in the race preset, which I forgot to also do. Hey, but at least I can clutch jump if I need to. This actually handles pretty nicely. I wonder what the record was for last year in LMP2, and I'm going to see if I can match that. Now, I think I'm running slightly less power by about 20 horsepower and slightly less downforce. Oh, wait, actually, you know what? I couldn't actually tell you how much downforce we created because that rolling has changed so many times since what we're using as a record, which is 2011, unfortunately. And trying to find anything about what downforce numbers are actually creating nowadays is nigh impossible. But right now, as we can find out what the braking distance is, so I'll give you guys a little bit of a rundown when we hit the 200 meter board. Okay, so it'll either be at about the 200 meter board, which is about your like supercar sort of areas, whereas a sports car instead will be in between the 200 and 300 at about here. A very fast, powerful, maybe muscle car that doesn't handle very well, maybe at about the 300 mark. But let's try at the 200 meter mark. My LMH car brakes at about in between 100 and 200, so about 150. And this thing just pulled up at maybe somewhere around 170, so, you know, pretty on par. Also, that like 100 kilos lighter this thing is actually very, very noticeable. Probably for the first time ever. Anyway, coming down again to the next one. Oh, a little bit jiggly under brakes. Brake and turn in. Oh, a little bit stroppy on exit. But very, very good. All right, let's look up the times. For LMH, it's about a 3:27, and I can currently, with a controller, do a lap in my LMH car at about 3 minutes and 33. So I'm actually not that far off, you know, I mean, it's me racing. Not very good. So it seems that this British team, Jota, finished 1 in LMP2. Their time is, for their best lap, 3 minutes 32. That's actually incredibly close to LMH categories of 3:27. So, with a rolling start and a manual gearbox, because I'm an idiot, let's see what this thing can do with just a controller and see if we need to maybe improve this car a little bit. Because I'm guessing it's going to be slower than my LMH car. It is very stable, though. That's going to make it very easy for doing 24 hours of racing. Up to date, I think the most I've ever done is like 5 hours stints when I was doing Gran Turismo 3 with their endurance options where you could, or maybe it was Gran Turismo 2. I don't remember which one, but I did it a few times and it was fun. But I'd have to leave the console on, which makes me think maybe it was Gran Turismo 2. Because Gran Turismo 3, I could save. Wait, no, you can't save in the middle of a race. So, yeah. It could have been either. But either way, it has been a very long time. And we're going to be doing it very differently here. Now, concentrate on our braking point. Braked too early. This thing looks like it wants to grip roll. And also not find out which gear it wants to be in. And now braking. Oh, okay. Well, apparently the braking that time was a lot better. That's the one thing you got to keep in mind. ABS, very, very good for being lazy sort of racing like I am. But it will sometimes make your braking distances longer. So be very mindful of that. Now we're coming into the end of the Morsand Straight. Get through here and then start braking very nicely through there. I mean, I missed the apex, but I mean, very nicely for me because I didn't spin out or crash. So I think we did pretty darn well. Also just realized I never did do anything with the exhaust, so I should probably go back and fix that. But at least we now have the standardized engine that everyone can use, and I will be making the rule set public in the description, subject to change. Once every team has come up with who's participating, hopefully with at least a couple of weeks beforehand, I will have the rule set completely finalized. I think it's actually pretty good where it is now. But a lot of the times with these sorts of things, people tell me, oh, Phil, you've done this wrong. I also would like to find out whatever the hell that equation was and get that actually set up so then there is also a limit of minimum drag. Whoop. Oh, not so great. Not so great. No, we saved it. Oh, just kept it off the wall as well. Coming through. What is this? The Porsche curves, I think? Or the Porsche curves, the final chicane sort of area? I really don't know the Le Mans track that well. I mean, I know the track, I just don't know the names of anything apart from Morsand Strait, which is, I mean, self-explanatory. I think everyone knows the Morsand Strait. If you don't know the Morsand Strait, it's like one of the longest straights that ever was in like a consistent race. And, oh god, we got a lot of time to go. 3:41? Oh dear. We have 10 seconds to knock off. Okay, so I did a little bit of tweaking because I also realized I didn't have a cockpit camera. We've got that all set up, and if you're wondering how to get your carbon fiber to come out black from automation, well, what you're meant to do there is make your own. You can do it in automation now. Make your own, make it black, and there you go. Done. All I gotta do now is try out hot lapping and see if we can break about 1:33-ish sort of time. Now, if we cut along here, lift off a little bit, which will make braking a little bit easier into the first chicane. That is usually really problematic if you don't lift there and instead try to power through, which you can power it through, you just won't be braking in time, and the car will be unsettled because you'll have full weight to the side still whilst trying to brake. So just lifting and coasting is a pretty good way of doing it. It also preloads the weight transfer. Let's hope I didn't pop a tire just then. Now, I can't exactly see the speedo, but I've noticed that the top speed in this is actually pretty high, and it is, matter of fact, actually faster in a straight line than my car. But you know what it is? It's probably mostly due to the lack of drag. Give me a little bit light on the front end. Brake! Into the first chicane on the Morsand Strait. Oh, a little bit wibbly wobbly. Gotta be a little bit more careful going around there. One day I'll learn how to drive, I swear to God. Into top gear now. Bringing it up to the next braking zone. Try to maximize track width going on the white section, which is allowed. And then braking. Oh, that's right, we don't need to brake so much for this one. Third gear is just about the wrong gear. Like, it's almost wanting to be in second gear there. But I feel you would just be bouncing off the rev limiter, and the moment you went to accelerate, you'd be into third gear anyway. So, not particularly helpful. Let's line up the end. Oh, that's good. Oh, bugger. Okay, this time we're gonna brake a little bit earlier because it seems to unsettle the car too much. Alright, now we're powering out of there. Big Porsche banner? Sure, why not? Whew. I keep yawning. Why do I keep yawning? It's nearly 8 AM. Oh my goodness, now I can't stop yawning. This is a tricky part of the track that I don't do very well in other games. And here I make it very rarely because I restart after I make a mistake, so this is not a part of the track I see too often. Oh, big weight transition there. Oh, brake and weight transition. This is not going to plan. This is not going to plan. Okay, that's good. Okay, straighten it up. Let's bring it down now. The last two chicanes. Okay, I can brake even later there apparently, but then I suppose I didn't have a lot of speed. Ah! Okay, oh no, I'm over time. I have 6 seconds to knock off. All right, time to buckle down. I think I can gain at least 2 back from that mistake I made, and 1 from just better driving. So there's 3 seconds I could take off, giving us 5 seconds, which will give us 2 seconds off.
82 kilometers later.
Not the best lap, but still pretty good. That was only a second and a bit better? Come on. Well, I think this solves my issue.
Hi there. My name's Dan, aka abetterbloke. Philman's asked me to drive his LMP2 mod he made for BeamNG. I'm extremely new to this game. I'm a iRacing streamer on Twitch TV. I do a bit of YouTube as well, but basically I just stream on iRacing. And exclusively I've driven the LMP2 at Le Mans for the Majors 24, which is a big part of the iRacing calendar year. So driving it in BeamNG is definitely going to be a bit of a challenge. Philman's asked me to hit a certain lap time target of a 3:33. I believe I can hit it. He seemed pretty confident I could. So fuck it, let's give it a whirl. So you would have already seen the car that Philman put together. Time to put it down on the track. See how it drives. Very baby sounding V8, very LMP spec'd. Okay, so we're starting this lap. I'm going to come around and I'm going to hit the start hot lapping widget. As soon as we get there, as soon as we get to that start finish line. Done a little bit of a warm up lap. Car is very hairy. Here we go. Oh, I didn't have to do anything. Oh, because it was already there from before. Okay. Don't worry, I placed a marker. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I'm a bit of a noob at this game. See if we can pull up in time. ABS is quite violent. Let's get on the power again. Okay, there we go. There we go. Right, this car definitely feels a little weirder than I would have anticipated. It is very scary, but it's like oversteering and understeering. Kind of like when Ferrari made bad Formula 1 cars. Oh, it understeers a lot. Oh, the curbing, don't kill me. We're gonna get on the power no matter what. There we go. Cut a bit of the track, cause I can. Cause I can. No one's here to tell me otherwise. Unless Philman tells me I can't. And we're going to fourth. Porsche curbs are definitely not for the faint-hearted. We get on the power. Now, that would have been an off-track in iRacing and we would have been penalised. However, we're in BeamNG. No one cares.
Editor, cut that. No, it's all good. Okay, so a 3:30. I mean, honestly, they're so much faster than me already than what I was in my LMH car. Oh my god. Okay, editor, there's no more need to show anything else that they did.
Oh! We were doing so well!
Okay, well, sure, maybe you could show that part.
Oh!
Okay, well, obviously you can show that part too, but no more.
Let's go. Let's ignore that lap. 3:30.439 is the time to beat. Much better apex. I think the car's okay over those bumps. Nice and easy through here. That felt a lot smoother. There we go. It felt a lot smoother. I want to beat this time so bad. I've done hot lap challenges before on iRacing and tried getting certain cars to do certain things. We're going to ignore that. Even with the mistakes I made on this attempt, I reckon we can be in the 29s. I reckon there's even 8s there. There's 28s there. What time are we at? 3:11. Oh my. Oh my, it's going to be tight. going to be tight. 29! 29.8. And there's so much more on the table. There is so much more on the table. Hey, Philman. This car's fun. Thanks for having me. You can catch me on twitch.tv. I'm an absolute menace on iRacing, but hey, give me more cars here.
Well, now that we know that the limit of speed of these things is a 3:30 and not any faster, because I know my editor didn't show any more of that. Yeah, well, I now have realized that I have to maybe bring that top speed down a little bit by doing a little bit of balance of the tuning and whatnot. The links to the build rules will be in the description, and they will be up for change. And when the YouTubers get around to making their secondary teams, they'll select whoever it is that they do. And you can just have fun with it for now. The file will be updated over time, though, so don't think that this is going to be the final version of it. They do need to be slowed down quite a bit. For now, though, I would like to thank my channel members, and that specifically includes to Hellman for being a top-tier channel member. For the rest of you, I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.
Bit unorthodox, but that's fine. We've started it with the mouse. We're going to start the lap of Le Mans.